know about we should be on now. Are we live?
Yes, you live.
Okay. Yeah, bro.
The mic is on. So
Okay, good. So I'm a veteran. You've been doing it.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so when you're ready to, if you can't get John to sign you off, because I gotta go.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So moving forward, there's a lot of things that I know as a general secretary that I can learn on, and I plan on improving a lot of different things. But I would like to say that I want to also continue on the success that I have also produced as the current general secretary. So as your humble servant, I will continue to support the office to the best of my ability.
All right, so I usually don't like using the mic, just keep it in case you have them. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
sir. So, when I grew up, there was no technology. So what I mean, like we said, these are uncontested positions, right? But still, they are very important and it's nice. So what I'll do is I want you to, if there's anyone here who has any one position, I want them to respond to it. If not, in Nigeria, what they say, you stand up and take a bow. That means you are being endorsed. So is anyone here who has any questions for any of them? So what I'll do is to ask the two of them to stand up and take a bow. Okay, I know that there are allotted some time for that aspect, but like I said, you people probably already have confidence in them, but it's nice to just hear them. When you do elections like this, the operation should not end here at the debate. Okay? You should continue when you start serving you. So that's when you see what they plan to do. So we will go straight to the meat of our agenda. And I will call 3 distinguished Liberians. I hope we are 3, right? Eugene Lauer. Ralph Kabose. Great. So can we have yeah? And I call them in no particular order. I call them using their surname in alphabetical order because we want to be sure that we are doing this. And please, gentlemen, have your seat. First, we've already mentioned what the format. But before, personally, I want to first commend your association for having these gentlemen who have offered themselves to serve you. I wanted to say to lead you, they will lead, but they will lead by serving you. So I think it's good that we have these 3 gentlemen, and we just want to hear their vision. But we will continue, and I will ask the first question, which is, why do you want to be the president? We call it this question as you have 2 minutes, and say, no, you can tell us what you want, you can dance for us, whatever is your 2 minutes. But the question is, why do you want to be the president? And I will start the question. Introduce them.
Yeah. They have to introduce themselves.
Hello. I think that for us, there are certain things that are assumed and taken. So when I say you have to tell us, if you don't want to tell us your name, I will name you. Please. Mention them. Tell us what you want to do. So yes, So if you will give us the benefit of the doubt to lead this the way we think as we are led by the Spirit. All right. So I will call, yes, in the order in which it started, Mr. Eugene, to share with us why you want to be president of this wonderful. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, my fellow Liberians. As you all heard, my name is Eugene Lauer, and I am accompanied here today with the solo of my sister, my wife. I also have my mom and my kids here, but for medical reasons, she's not here at this point. I'm the current national vice president for the Liberian Association in Canada. I have served 2 terms I have a background in business management. I have a background in a master's in community economic development. I have a background in occupational health and safety. I have a background in supply chain management. I currently work for Edmonton Police Services, and I also work for social services in Edmonton. I have served the Liberian Friendship Society as the financial secretary. I have been in the community and serving others, whether with housing, whether with immigration, because I have a background in immigration. I've served as a supervisor, working with the overseas processing entity and working along with the Department of Homeland Security in Ghana. So I brought the skills over. Our fellow Liberians that have the need the support. Apart from being in leadership, I've been supporting people in this area because it's a passion that I have. And I feel I could be in the same position as others. So I've been dedicating my life to serving people. And so having an interest to serve as a leader, there is a need to bring this on a larger scale.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
All right, so let's hear from Mr. Ram.
Thank you very much. My name is Ram Tapuse. I came with my wife and children. We were told the debate is supposed to start at 4. I came there with family. Unfortunately, they changed the time and we went back home. And my daughter is sleeping right now. So that's the reason my wife is not here. Now, the reason why I want to serve as president for the Liberian Association of Canada, because I feel I have done a lot of community work, and most of you know the work I have done with the community. My background is addiction and community service. I work in the social field. I'm also serving as a union rep at my employer for Local 202. Now, I serve as president for the Liberian community in Kitchener, Alec, for 4 years. I served 2 times, and hand over power to a new leader. But the reason is I'm here today is the reason I'm here today is because I see there's a need for change in our community. Our youth, most of our youth are in prison today. Our youth being shot on the street, and with the ability, I hope you guys. All right, so I see there's a need for me to step in as a leader to bring change in the community, right? Like women empowerment, youth empowerment, empower our women, empower our elderly people, and also be able to build the society and give power back to all the community across Canada under the Liberian Association. So I will wait for your question, and I will be prepared to ask the question.
Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great day. And it's an honor and privilege to be here today, sitting in front of you, and justification why I should be the next president of the association. My name is Ruben Onismosta Senior. I'm here today from the beautiful city of Edmonton. I'm a member of LSC since its formation by virtue of my community. I've served as one of the founding members of the board of directors. I'm also a founding member of Mountain City, Edmonton, which is the largest, one of the largest, or is the largest
city in Canada when it comes to Liberians. Now, the question posed to me is, why should I be elected as the president of this association? Because I love to serve. And I've been in service since the onset. I've been in service since I came to this country. And I have a proven track record of successful service, not only in Iraq, but also in my own community. When it comes to my background, I have a BBA. I also have an MBA. And currently, I own 2 successful businesses that I run in Edmonton. Now, those that profile alone, it qualifies me to be able to help our people, which is needed. When I say help them, meaning be able to point people in the right direction and show them where things are supposed to be moved. Now, I love to serve, but I have also realized that my service can only be good based on the people around me. I'm not the guy to be up there and want to shine while every other person around me is at the bottom. I believe that when I grow, we will all grow. But my most important character is that my word is my bond.
So let's get started. Team 1. Are we ready? Okay, team 1. Fostering unity and growth in the community. Now, the question. What do you think are the major challenges accompanying the growth of the Liberian community, and what specific initiatives or programs will you implement to engage or encourage community growth? That question is for everybody there. You got a question, right? Okay.
Thank you so much for this question. That's a very good question. And this question is relevant because our community faces a lot of challenges when it comes to life. And it is not a single community, say, Kitchener, or it's all of the communities. And on the federal level, we have similar situations. So, what I will do, and I have been doing, to foster growth and unity within this community is that all along the way, when we took leadership, we've been trying to unite all of the cities to the extent that currently we have about 9 cities as member cities within the Liberian Association of Canada. One of those cities I have dedicated myself since December 25th, and it's Toronto. So if Toronto is here, I think Toronto will be my witness. I've worked along with Toronto to ensure that Toronto was able to get to a place of election and inauguration. So Toronto being here today is part of the hard work that I have been doing. Not only that, I have reached out to Nancy Reed, who I can give as a reference. If anyone here needs to follow up, for sure you can do that. Despite the divide, we were all here, fled, lagged. But I was able to reach out to Nancy Reed, and today I believe that all of the ladies here can tell Nancy Reed was at her highest at the Women's Convention. It is because of the engagement. And so it is not just about us, but there's more to looking at how we can come together and work together. So when we talk about what kind of programs that will be put in place, this is why we are a team. We will engage our cities on things, programs, and services. We cannot just come up with programs from the top, because when you do economic development, you don't decide for the people. You work with the people, come up with objectives and work along with them and see how those objectives can be achieved. And that's exactly what we do.
Hello, hello.
I will start with the zero. My group, together with my team that will be elected, we will bring in programs that will be spread to all the community across Canada. It will not just be the National Association. We make sure we have all the regional vice presidents engaged with their community. We will write programs or grants for all local communities. So that we be able to give them that money, so that we be able to implement their own programs for their people in the community. That's what we're going to do under our leadership. And this will be done in consultation with my team, my vice president, my secretary, all regional vice presidents within the community. We work together to bring growth in the community. For me, having the experience, having my own organization, which many of you know about, running programs in different communities, writing grants for other communities. I will work with my police for us to be able to fund grants for the local community across Canada, so they'll be able to get that money and implement programs within their local community. When it comes to unity, everybody, sometimes they call me a flag person, or sometimes they call me a lag person, because when I have programs, I bring in the flag people and I bring in the lag people, and we all meet in one room. So with that experience, I think I will be able to unite all Liberians. I will encourage all our leaders
Chris, you know, can you hear me now?
Yeah, so Sean, no, they were fixing it. They were fixing it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this question. It's very important because this goes to my heart. I have kids, and this is very important. So it's ironic if my colleague here can initially say um, the current administration did not do much, but I would also like to add that he is the boss of our current president. So if this administration was not doing much, I think he could have sanctioned or called the current president to put him on track. Let me go to the question. So consider all of what is happening. I understand you're saying we need to engage the mothers, yes, but it is not about the mothers. The youth themselves, some of them have their own goals, they have their interests. It is the youth we need to engage directly on issues that they are faced with. I will tell you right now, having to be with correctional services, there are a lot of youth out there you can find in prison, mental health, and there isn't an open space to have some conversation or dialogue with the youth to see what their interests are to be able to engage them. Currently, as I speak to you, we've engaged Alfonso Davis, who happens to be my nephew, and he has some interest that I will not unveil here. Eventually, when I take over as the president, there are a couple of So, yes, we will engage, we have this dialogue, we have programs, we speak to crime prevention, we speak to violence, we speak to different issues that affect them. As for the mothers and women, is my time up? Yes.
And just also to provide a guide, because these questions are not exclusive in themselves. So you will have an opportunity if there's a point you wanted to make, but we are just trying to get around the questions and we'll take it. So it's okay if you don't complete your. The other thing I also want to ask is if I was a judge, I would say that certain statements should be stricken off the records. And what it means, I want you to tell us what you want to do. I wouldn't want us to respond to your opponents yet. So the first set of questions is to share what you want to do. We'll have an open session where you can just to guide the conversation. I hope we are all together. All right, so the next is something that I'm interested in a lot. And the theme is promoting Liberian culture in Canada. And I'm very passionate about African culture because I think that one of the things I notice is that Africans, when we become Canadians, we seem to want to be more Canadian than Canadians. And yes, when we become Canadians, we appear to want to be more Canadian than Canadians. Forgetting that the reason we are here is to add the African flavor to the Canadian experience. So culture is important, and I also am sure it's important to you. So the question we want to ask is, how do you plan to promote and preserve the Liberian culture in practical terms? Share with us your view about Liberian culture and how you will preserve and promote the Liberian culture. And like I said, we will reverse the order. You will go first, Ralph, and then we'll go through again. Ralph. Who is Ralph? Ralph, yes, you go first this time.
So, how we will promote Liberian culture in Canada? I just want to point out to something that we are doing in Kitchener. Kitchener is the only community that usually have a multicultural dish for people to come and eat different cultural food. But we will also engage with other communities, African communities within Canada, to showcase the Liberian culture and introduce the beautiful culture Liberian has.
So when it comes to promoting the culture, we need to recognize the fact that Liberia is not just the oldest African nation, but we have one of the best cultures. No disrespect to other countries, but we have an amazing culture, and especially when it comes to our food. Now, Edmonton has taken it one step further, and in the for the past few years, the past 2 years since the COVID, we have not been a part of it, but we showcased our Liberian culture under, it was during Mr. Women's administration, but I worked closely with the team that did the showcasing at the events, and we won first place 2 times in a row. So this tells you that we have it on mind, and it's something that I would really love to promote, because to be honest, I'm proud to be a Liberian. And I would be happy if we can be anywhere that people will recognize us and say, yes, Liberia has done it again. So events, showcase, and any chance we have or any opportunity, even inviting other superstars and other people from back home to here to display the culture with the beauty.
Thank you very much. So I would say this is not new. It's already going on within our community. And Edmonton have, just as my colleague said, have been doing that. But I'll also mention, I have served as the paramount chief of the Global Association of Canada. And we carry out we display our tradition and invite others. As part of my plan for this election, when I take over, I intend to have our traditional festival and blend it in with, whether it's with the natives, like people from within Canada. And this is going to be alternated between the French and the English, maybe Quebec, and that decision is going to be made by the community. So there are a whole lot of things that made our culture so rich that we need to display and people don't know. In fact, one of the ladies during our conversation, because of our interest to engage this, indicated even the female baseball that we play in Liberia, that's something we will showcase. It's probably not part of sports here, but we will promote that. And our tradition, we are planning currently right now as part of the Global Association, but we need to bring this up to the latter organization. We are planning to host an occasion, a program, sometime June or July next year. It's still being planned. And so knowing all of these and what we've done, there's a need for us to integrate within the latter Liberian community.
I just want to crave the indulgence of the audience. Just one more question from this side, and we'll come to your side.
Okay.
I hope that's okay. His theme is, I think, also very important to every organization. The theme is resource mobilization and sustaining lack. You can do a lot of talking, but if you don't have the fuel to, you not have. So I will start with you first. What strategies will you employ to ensure that the organization has sustainable funding and financial management? So how do you, it is your programs that you have plans, how do you intend to fund it?
Thank you so much. I will first start off by the progress we've made when it comes to fundraiser. You can compare any Liberian community or association, whether in the US or here. We were able to raise over $300,000 for this association to be able to serve over 500 Liberians, whether families, single mothers, and so forth. We also were able to raise $30,000 and send to Liberia to support people with developmental disability. In addition, we were able to raise $10 to support people in Liberia, $10,000 to support the orphanage in Liberia. So we have a background in doing that. There are other sources we can tap into, including, I know we've been having some donations from individual cities, and that is very vital. And this was approved by everyone, and I just wanted to mention that because it's also a source of revenue to this organization.
Thank you very much.
So how we going to fundraise for, how we going to fundraise for LAC, or for me, it's not for LAC alone. It's for the entire community across Canada. I have the experience of doing that. We're going to fundraise by looking for avenue where we can find funding, grants. We'll also fundraise among ourselves to be able to support our people. Now, as I said, I run a not-for-profit organization, and I also serve as president for ALEC Kitchener. Over my term as president for ALEC, we raised over $100,000. Over $100,000. For my own community, my own not-for-profit I'm serving right now, we have raised over $200,000. I'm using that money to run different programs within the community. Not just for Liberians, but also the African community, because what? We want to create space for our youth again. So when it comes to fundraising for this community, I will not be fundraising just for LAC itself, but for all the local community across Canada, because I want the benefit to go there.
Once again, the question was, how will you raise funds, if I'm correct? Now, here's the deal. We all here acknowledge the fact that there will be government grants, there will be ways of getting money from the government. That is part of the society that we live in. But majority, we need to come away from the fact that that is the only source of revenue. We need to come up with ideas within and amongst ourselves. One of the simplest and easiest method that this can be done, if you look in this room, there's probably 50 or 60 business owners in this room. What if we were to integrate all of these people's websites or their businesses onto our site? And every time one of us patronize them, our association get a percentage. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing? Think about it. Better yet still, we had a brotherhood serious guest house that we all will travel and go if we don't have a place to stay. What if we integrate that business in Liberia until we can get up to the means to build our own guest house there? and people went there and used that facility and we got a percentage of it. Wouldn't that be something amazing for us? Think about it. Why we should always say, oh, our only source of income is grants and going to the government. The government have crisis right now. There will be budget cuts. So does that mean we should limit our programs? Let's think about it, people.
Okay, so now we have asked. Now it's your turn. And like my colleague mentioned, we've given you 4 themes, and I'll read them again. The first one is fostering unity and community growth. The second one is youth and women empowerment. The third one is promoting Liberian culture. And the fourth is resource mobilization and fundraising. And they've answered questions around that background. So it's your turn now to ask. One of them will probably become your president. So if you have any burning questions around what you've responded to or any of these things, it's now your turn. Just indicate by raising up your hand. We just want your name and you go straight to the question. 30 seconds. So the floor is open for audience participation. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes. So you know 1. So we go with number 1. After number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So you gentlemen, you have.
My name is James Wright. Honorable gentlemen, I listened to your response to those questions I was asked, but I have a few concerns. I know our association is about young, and this is going to be our 3rd electoral process, including excluding the interim. So I want to ask, and this question goes to all of you, the response to the one I asked. So I want to ask you guys, what do you know about this association in terms of its functionality? How is it functioning? Does it have the requisite people in those various cities you think you can use or that will be feasible to work with, whatever platforms that you are handing down to them?
Thank you. You can decide the order who wants to go first.
Yeah, just anybody can take it. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Very good question. An honest answer to you will be no. We need to develop the manpower. We need to develop the human capital. We need to put people in place that will hand things down. One of the problems that we face in this administration right now is that information will not streamline to the bottom. And then outside of the board. And then when it reaches to the board, it's time for decision making. So if the people in the bottom do not or are not given a chance to deal with issue and get there, all we do is vote at that time and make it to law or the bylaws. But I think if we develop the human capital, that's why I said in my earlier on, we need to bring more people on board. And as we bring these people on board, we will train and educate them to the level in which we want them to operate or in the level in which we want them to work. There are so many skilled professionals that can do it here, but we have to take the step to lead them and make them to where we want them to be.
As he rightly said, we need to bring people on board. But the reason is, right now, under this administration, it's just the level of the executive. We need to engage with the local community. The power need to come from them. The decision need to come from them. So if we just sit down and say that we should continue to lead with us spreading the power to the local community, engaging with the local community, then we're not going to go anywhere. Then we will not have the kind of community we envision. Because the community, when you say Liberian Association of Canada, it's not just the executive. For me, in my view, is the people. the people themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. So I would say, again, I'll add, it's ironic, because, and I'm proud, I'm glad that my colleague here indicated that he's on the board. And if decisions are only coming from the administration, then I'm not sure whether my colleague knows his role. And I'll also mention my other colleague there, because if you look at the hierarchy of the organization, it's the board, the president and the administration, and the regional vice president. Which my colleague here have served as a regional vice president, and if there was anything that hampered the functionality of this administration, I think he has a huge say. He could have put it to a halt. But just to answer your question, so given the structure of the organization, we work with communities, and I will give an example. We had our first leadership seminar, whereby even members of various communities took part. It was during COVID, and we all went on there. It didn't distinguish who went on there, whether board or leadership or whoever. And as part of my plan, this is something that we're going to carry out. If you look at my plan, you will see that in there. So we are going to be having seminars to empower our local leaders, our board members, and even the leadership, because oftentimes we put people in a position and we assume they can carry out the work. Even if they can carry out the work, there's still a need for that development to build upon whatever expertise they have. And so as part of my plan, just as I've indicated, this is something that we're going to put some time into so that we can strengthen our organization.
English.
My name is Gerald Nessler. I'm from Edmonton. So the question is specifically going to my brother from Edmonton. Ruby. Sorry. It's been to Ruby. I understood you are part of the leadership in Edmonton. And for the 2 years I've been in Edmonton, Liberian community have not participated in the World Heritage Program. That we were 2 times winner. You just spoke about it. And because from my experience, from what I gathered from the ladies, that every time they won, the leadership failed to come back to them. And they got discouraged and stopped participating. Because they stopped, I will no longer participate because I went to the program this year. That's the information I have. Now that you are taking up the leadership, how now can you convince us, having been over Edmonton, and the woman failed to attend twice, and nothing is being done, how can you now put it on a larger scale, as you said?
Okay, first of all, that question would have been specifically for Edmonton. I am no longer in the leadership with Edmonton. I used to sit on the board representing Edmonton for LAC. But as the president of LAC, it will be my duty in my home city or my home city to encourage them, because guess what? I was one of those who served on those 2 times that we won. I was one of those who started, like I said, it was through Mr. Boomer's administration. We decided, it started mine, and then Mr. Boomer took over when we were accepted into that program to represent our country at the heritage. And it was through our instrumental efforts that we won twice, okay? Now, when the women say we didn't come back to them, there was always the program chair that came back and tried to host series of appreciation for them. But everyone's schedule was conflicting. And we could not have a solid event. But still, they were taken out to a restaurant and appreciate it. So for them to say that they were, I don't know where you got your information from, but that information is, that's what I'm saying, it's not totally correct, because they were appreciated. My position with LAC, right, I would encourage Edmonton to definitely enter the race, enter again, because that is where they can showcase the beautiful Liberian culture. So I would encourage them to go back into it.
Yeah, number 3. My question is
You'll be loud a little bit?
It centers around accountability. because we talk about raising money, but we also want to know how to spend money. And Mr. Ralph, you serve as president for Kitchener 2 terms. During your leadership, was there any time you published an audited financial for the public of since Kitchener is registered as a public not-for-profit organization, if not one? And my second question has to do with when you serve as financial secretary for LAC while it was flagged. Can you tell us why you refused to turn over the checkbooks to the then president you left the position?
Now you want me to put the chili under the bag. And I will put it outside. Now, let's start with Kitchener. Every money that we got in grants from the government, we were able to inform our people and make a clear financial report for them to understand, not the one LAC usually give to us in 1 day space. Okay? We put it in clear financial writing for them to understand. Like if you're grown man, you or fellow man, you'll be able to understand that financial report. That's the kind of financial report. That's the kind of financial report we give to our people for them to be able to understand. If you're talking about audited financial report, I did not do any audited financial report. And you know the reason why? Because I was not required to do audited financial report to the funder. They were asking for internal financial report. And I gave it to them. I also share with my community. Now, what's the next question? The check. Yeah, no. I will answer that question. I have to answer that check question.
I know, but just before, I don't want it to be a dialogue, but we need clarity. And I see people from Kitchener is nodding their head, meaning that I understand because it has to do with accountability, and we want us to entrust our resources.
Can I answer your second question, and then you can come back, right? What are you see people nodding their head? Let me answer the second question. The second question, you say why I refuse to turn over the checkbook to then President Mr. Hine. Let me tell you, when I was serving as financial secretary, I did not own any checkbook. I fought with Mr. Hine to get the checkbook from him. He said it right there. I fought with him. I said it's not your job to keep checkbook for the community. And I fought with him. He was able to make that checkbook to me. After Leo took over, Leo came to me personally. I hand over the checkbook to him. He's here in the audience too. So that's what I did. If you get any information that I refuse to turn over checkbook to Mr. Hine, that's a false information.
Number 4. We're getting this.
Good morning, business. My question is directed to Mr. Ralph Dakosa.
Let me get it.
You talk about raising 200,000 for Alike in Kitchener. Have you published any financial report after this 200,000 was raised to the current leadership?
That's your question?
Yes.
So let me just correct you. I didn't say I raised over 200,000 for Alec. For my own non-for-profit, Hope for Community Development, I said I raised over 100,000 for Alec.
I'll rephrase my question. When you serve as president for Alike, have you turned over your financial records to the present administration?
Let me be clear. I'm not doing business like the way business is running within the Liberian Association. We have a financial secretary that do her job. It is not my responsibility to turn over financial record to the current president. The financial secretary, I'm so sorry she's not here today. She would have been the best person to answer that question. She's not here today because her son is not well. But she turned over all her financial record to the new administration. Not me, but the financial secretary. Because I like to give people the chance to do their job. Thank you.
Number 5. No.
Yeah, number 5. Yeah, number 5. My name is Alfonso Dan from Quebec. My first question goes to Ruby. You talk about women empowerment. I just want to know how. This is very cardinal when it comes to organization.
Exactly.
Accountability, financial accountability is very, very cardinal.
Yes.
This we should just walk on it.
Yep.
If we don't have a solid foundation, how can we progress? So
Thank you. Can we?
verify that.
Yes, I know.
Someone was running flowing water.
I know.
Protected. That is okay.
I know. And that's why I took the microphone.
Thank you.
I want to encourage us. It's important that we get engaged, but we want to do that following a process. I have said we will take questions in batches of 5. After that, the next 5. So just, yes, we will take, because this is one house. And again, I want us to also do this with all due respect. We have the right to know how our organization will be run. We also have the right to make sure we do that in the right attitude. And so that we don't live here a divided family, whoever wins. Important thing, I know we want to make sure that those who say they want to serve us, that we question them, and they also know that when they start serving, you guys are going to hold them accountable. That's the spirit with which I want this question. And so I think that we'll follow in that line. But whoever, everybody here who has a burning question, we'll give you the opportunity to ask them, because people who offer themselves for leadership, they deserve to be interrogated, and that's what we are not doing back home. So don't feel that he's my friend, or don't feel offended. I want us to take those questions in good faith, and as much as possible, let's accept whatever answer they give us, because that's the answer they provide to us. So number 5, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think, how many questions can we ask? One. Okay, Ruby, we talk about, I think, being a leader, they are so responsibility, right? So you've been away for a while. We have to see you in places like the women conventions, so we talk about women empowerment. We had a great women convention, we didn't see you, you didn't show up. I don't know how you supported them. I just want you to tell us why you've been away and how you're going to support women if we can see you watching at the women convention. That's one. My next question goes to, can I continue? Yeah. Right. Mr. Dakota.
Answer my question first.
No.
Yeah, you told me personally that you raised over 175,000 for Kishna. And today you say you raised 200,000 for Kishna. Personal organization. Okay. 175,000. I have 3 questions in that. My first question is, when did you raise your first fund for Alan? Second question, when did you launch your organization in Africa? The one you did, which I think I'm well. And who in this house from Kishima can prove that you raised over 175,000 and can prove that you did series of programs for Kishima? That's what I want to know.
Okay, just so we, just so I'm clear, the specific question was,
No, one house, and the reason why I say I disagree with you, before the women event, we had a convention. I was present at the convention. And before that, every other convention,
I have been the only person representing my city at almost all of them. Okay? My dedication to last terms for 2019, I ran against the current president. And in that, like I told you, remember when I've said takes place, I said my word is my bond, and people here can attest. I promised that by losing wasn't going to scare me away. I will renew with luck, I will walk with luck, I will fight with luck. And that, I'm still there today. I missed the women convention because my wife has had a major surgery that I could not be there. However, they can attest to it, I supported them.
Yes, you did. Yes.
And on the day of the event, the day before I spoke to the chair lady, the day of the event I spoke to her. I even made a joke. I said, I will not be there for you to dance in your beautiful dresses. She said she can attest to it. So for you to say I have not been present,
No, you're good. Good. You have the floor.
If I get your first question right, you said when did I raise my first grant for Alec? My first grant, which was $33,455, was raised for Alec in 2020. And your second question, if I can point to someone.
The second question, when did you launch the organization in Africa?
I'm not launching, I did not launch my non-for-profit in Africa. What I'm doing in Africa is I get to know what kind of programs or what kind of help our people need in Liberia. And I identify to help the visually impaired people in Liberia. Now, my organization has been helping these people for the past 3 years. Now, we have developed in a way that we think helping them with basic need and food, it won't be sufficient for them. So we have come up with a plan and a project to be able to be a learning and living facility for the visually impaired people in Liberia, which we are having our first fundraising program in Kitchener on September the 2nd, which also the National Commissioner on Disability will be, the director will be in our program on that day.
That you're going too far. The question was, when did you launch the organization? Thank you.
You have the right to ask a question. You have the right to ask.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say, I did not launch anything there. When it comes to launching, the launch will be happening in December, this December. But I already have a program, a project ongoing right now, which a 15-acre land has been given to my organization by the National Commission on Disability. So come to the program in September, you're going to see all that proof. Your third question was what? Point somebody out? Anybody, right? I will refer to my board chairman, Mr. Koa, who know everything about the project. All funds that came in.
Respected order.
So if you want to talk to Mr. Koa,
All right, so I know that time is fast spent, but since we promised, it's now 30 seconds is 30 seconds. Don't tell us, don't give a background to your question. Just straight forward ask the question. So I'm going to take your 1 already. 2, 3, 4, 5.
I have a general question.
We're looking at the line basis. I listened to you carefully, moderator, when you made mention of culture, right? And I think we are Liberian, I can say, and we have to be patriot when it comes to Liberia. This question has to do with Liberia and Liberia in Canada. Within the last 2 months, looking at the various celebrations in Liberia, especially the July 26th and the August 24th, which one of you holistically have come up to identify a program or have participated or even made a statement to remind us about our country, Liberia?
Before I take the next question, I just want to say like that. When I said 30 seconds, you know, back home in Nigeria, the network used to be very bad. So some of us out there need to be very smart. When you make a phone call to your mom or whatever, you reduce the greetings because, especially when you have a need. So when you spend hours trying to say, how are you doing, the line is gone. And all they wanted to do, ask is send me money. So you spend, I don't give you, it's good to have, but 30 seconds is 30 seconds. And I think the question is loaded. And what we are going to do, you're not going to respond to, I think, the 5 questions. And I will leave to the audience because of the speakers to choose any of the questions, except one that is referred to you directly. So you don't all have to answer what he has answered. You can answer any of the questions because what we are trying to do is to aid your leadership qualities and not necessarily. And the other thing is that this debate does not end here because the election is not tonight. So I'm sure that campaigns will be going on. And you can ask them one-on-one. And I think that is where we are doing. So please, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Number 2.
My question goes to Mr. Rabbit. In your deliberation, you talk about reporting that your financial secretary was supposed to report to me. Are you saying that as the president of LAC, at the end of your term, it will not be your responsibility to respond to any financial question that will be coming to you, rather that will be giving all work to the financial secretary? And second, this refers to the $175,000. I'm going to rebut that right now because I'm the president of ALEC, and that's an integrity issue. I did not receive $175,000 for Kitchener ALEC. That might be a political question. You can find out more later.
That last question is stricken out the record.
Yeah, that was just a point out.
Yeah, we've forgotten about it. You only asked one question. I hope it's noted. Number 3. The lady standing up.
It's just a general, sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it's just a general question towards your leadership if you're gonna get elected. How will you gather, evaluate, and act on information for all policy decisions within the organization? How will you gather, evaluate, and act on information for all policy decisions within the organization?
My name is Peter Zeddy. I'm the vice president of the Liberian Association of Toronto. My question is to Mr. Eugene. And but first of all, I want to give credit to where credit due. Our organization is why it is today because of Leo, the current president, who came in after many years of not being together, he brought us together. But he had been visiting with us until we had the election and had inauguration. The question is, what wrong that this administration had done that you, when you win the election, you will set right moving forward?
Number 4, yes.
I have two questions. One is directed at you, Ralph, because I think that is important to the
promises that it's feasible. It's very easy to make very grand promises, and then when it comes down to the actual work, it's very hard to see it through for various reasons. You talked about grant writing for various associations, actually for all different member associations. How is it possible? How is it possible to do that when each organization can only apply for grants that are consistent with the qualifications of that unit, right? There are specific grants that sometimes are only specific to Manitoba that cannot apply to DC, that cannot apply to Ontario. There are times you cannot find anything. So how can you, as Black president, promise that you will be able to achieve this? Because we don't want to sell our people wild dreams.
Thank you. The question is loaded. Number 5.
My name is Thomas Bumbe, former president of the Liberian Friendship Society. My question is to Mr. Dagose and of course my best friend Eugene. The question is about conflict of interest. Our government president was asked this question and his feet was kind of fire when he was contesting for the first time. How are you going to distinguish your current organization from LSC if you are elected as a president? In terms of conflict of interest for funding. My next question to Eugene is that you've done a great job from what we hear in being the vice president of the association, and a lot of good things we have heard about the administration. Now, we're looking at if you are elected, will you have a system, or can you tell us if you are willing to reveal financial record and in terms of audit, do you have a plan to audit the administration?
No, I think I've gotten 5, but I had one. I counted 6, and I'm going to allow the 6th person. Also, because probably he couldn't make the number 5 because his hands were quite busy. So that gentleman carrying a baby. So I don't know. Yes.
Listen,
You were part of the people who endorsed my being here, but 30 seconds is 30 seconds.
My name is Stephen Nicolo Johnson. I'm the current president of the Liberian Association of Canada. My question is just one for clarification from Ralph. When I became president, you were no longer financial secretary. So I would just like for you to clarify, at what juncture, at what point did you turn over any checkbooks to me? Because in fact, I helped the then interim administration because they had no one to do their financials because there were no records and they needed to produce one. So it would be great to just know at what juncture you turn over any financial records or checkbook to me as a mentioned.
All right, so what I asked the candidates to do is you will take these questions accordingly, the ones that are addressed to you, and then wrap it up as your closing, give us a closing statement as well. Those, if you don't have anyone specifically, you can choose one to answer or give us your closing statement as well. And I'm going to give you the latitude of 2 minutes each, and that will be your last opportunity to answer the questions directly or to give us your closing remarks. And I would want to start with Eugene, and then we'll go to the other one.
Thank you very much. So I'll speak to the first question I talked about, So first of all, working with this current administration, we've attempted to introduce quarterly reporting system in place, how we can report for our people and our people can report to the national organization. that did not come to fruition because the various leadership sat together and they weren't prepared to present that amount of information. It was indicated that they were going to go back to their communities and come back to us to see how that can be done. So that could be a failure, but that's something that can be improved. And that's something I'm going to introduce to see how we can continue to engage and have these conversations. Because we have to have a system whereby we can report to the people, the local organizations, and the local organizations to report to the national organization. Because whatever progress any local organization made, we should be able to look at that, see what they did right, have those conversations, and see how we can tap into that. Maybe that will strengthen another organization. But by being able to report or have a reporting system in place, we'll be able to capture all that information, evaluate, have some progress reports when we have our meetings, discuss and see where people went right, where people went wrong, and that's how we will be able to catch up on things that need to be built upon and things that are falling loose. That's one thing. I will also speak to the question that spoke about what this administration has done wrong that I will do better. I will first of all salute. I'll first of all salute Mr. Leo Johnson, who has been my president, whom I've served as the national vice president, because it is not only about our failures that make us what we are or that can make us progress, but also things that we've succeeded in. So I'll let you say thank you so much, Mr. Leo. I'm honored to have served with you to bring this organization to where it is. And there is a lot that I have learned from you, and I can guarantee you what I learned from you, that's something that gave me some additional insight. I'm an individual to look at what did not go right or some of the things that we did not get accomplished. I would say, for instance, the Liberian grant. So I know a lot of people might have questions, but usually when there is a grant, there is a process, and there are things stipulated within those grants. And if you cannot conform to those that are stipulated within those grants, usually you cannot apply them as easy as we think it should be because it's subject to audit and reporting. That's one thing. But I can tell you, the fact that I've been with the administration, it gave me an additional insight to know where these flaws and all little things are that we can build upon. And given this experience, I will be able to build upon these things because I know some of these things exist. Yes, we've done some things right. Yes, there are some things that we did not accomplish. And that's the reason why I have the passion to be able to look at those things that were accomplished to be able to build upon them for us to have this organization moving forward. As far as conflict and conflict of interest is concerned, by my brother, thank you for the question. Yeah. It's for Ruben.
You have been voting from the previous administration. If you are elected, how are you going to audit the previous administration?
So first of all, let's look at the definition of audit. Audit is not only because there is a malpractice. Audit is there to know the financial position of the organization and be able to direct it in a more positive way. And it also gives you an insight, even if there was any malpractice, to be able to catch up on it. So, personally, do you think Eugene Blauer, I, will want to inherit anything that does not conform to my personal belief, which you, Mr. Bowman, you know? We work together in that meeting. So,
what's the issue with that? Move on.
Yeah, so you know that I will not like to have any stain on my record. It took me all my life to be what I am, and I stand by that. So audit is a good thing. I will highly embrace that because it is imperative and important for the organization to move forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
As far as financial records and plan, for audit, that's the one I just answered. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, sorry. And given all of this, I know we all are here, we all are excited, we all probably have made some decision one way or the other, but I would like to appeal to everybody here to take this election very seriously. There's so much that is at stake in this election. We may have our own differences, but it is very important for us to look beyond the differences and see the importance of our existence. Also look at all of the progress we've made, not only the mistakes we made. Because no matter what, there's no community that is perfect, there's no individual that is perfect, but what matters is Liberian. That's the common denominator. And we have to stay here to ensure that all Liberians make it to where we want this organization to be. We have a repetition of that. Toronto is an example. We are having a conversation with Ottawa. Ottawa asked us to get involved and help them with their elections. We are reaching out. We spoke to Nova Scotia. We spoke to Calgary. We spoke to Medicine Hat. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Let us not sit back and leave this alone because there's so much work going into it, and we got to make sure we achieve what we are here for. I am asking you all to look at this and vote with your conscience. Look at who we are by what you know and vote. I'm asking to please vote Eugene Flower as the next president. In this community. Thank you so much. I love you. I look forward for your vote.
If you were timing, you would know that it took 5 minutes, which is okay. And I'm giving the same opportunity to others. 5 minutes, you don't have to exhaust it. If you give us 2 minutes of having, about to have that. And to answer your question, close with a closing statement, and then we'll go to it. So I will.
Let me just clarify the 75,000 that went outside, the 175,000. When you have a campaign and you have a campaign chairperson to run your campaign, and they post statement outside there without your consent, because they want to get a place of political season, that's what happened. But I want to let you guys know, I got rid of my campaign chairman for that, but the money that was raised under my leadership in Kitchener is over 100,000. It did not reach to 175, but it is over 100,000. And the president saying I will attest to that. 35,000, 25,000. 4,000, that's how much? That's how much? 35,000, 45,000, 24,000, that's how much? 100. That's how much? You said no, that's how much? 107. How much? 107. 107,000 I was able to raise under my leadership. But you're saying no yet, that's why I'm answering your question. That's the money I raised in Kitchener. 35,000, 45,000, and 24,000.
Yeah, you need to stop. This is not a debate between.
Yes. That's what I raised.
First, I know we've been here for a long time. So, secondly, don't forget the premise on that which I said. First, let's not get personal. Secondly, let's not get defensive. Thirdly, let us not get angry. And I think that one of the things we must take from here, when we offer ourselves for leadership, is that we need to interrogate it. That's correct. Rightly or wrongly. And you also have the opportunity to respond the way and manner you feel appropriate. But one of the things I don't want us to leave here, to leave this place as a disunited organization. I started saying we are doing this debate as one family and one organization. And I always tell people, it is your friends that will tell you that your mouth is friendly. So let's take questions. Let's answer that, and please give the candidates the right to answer the question you have asked the way they choose. You have the right to ask your question. They also have the freedom to respond to the way they choose. So I will give 4 minutes to answer any of the questions you choose to answer, and to do so in the manner that you choose. These are your people, and you will still meet them after you. So I spend 4 minutes to do, and then 5 minutes to address.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I think when it comes to the money that I put outside there, it's very clear what I have raised. Now, so now when it comes to conflict of interest, right now, Thomas, I know that I'm running for president for that. I'm not the executive director for community development. I just hired an executive director for community development because what? I want the organization to grow. I'm just the funder. So being president for LAC, I will have no conflict. There will be no conflict between both for community development and LAC itself. That is why I accuse myself right now from being executive director. I hire a new executive director. When it comes to Leo's question, you know, it is difficult to put things outside, you know, when you are asked about it. Leo, to your question, when you came to sympathize with our sister, when her mother passed away in Scotland, you requested a check from me. Before even coming, you asked me to bring the check. And I did brought the check, and I gave it to you. And this is between me and my God. I remember everything. I gave in that check. What's all money was in the account? What they do with it? What they didn't do with it? There was no money in the account. All the check was given. You requested the check, and it was given to me. That's it. All right. So,
are you okay?
Oh, let me make my yes. I will say it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we should all know the reason why we are in this room today. You should remember. And the reason why we funded this organization, the constitution of this organization was adopted in my house. That showed that I have the ability to bring leaders around across the country to sign something very important to this organization. This election is different from all elections. You have seen for the past 8 or 4 years of this community. You can raise your hand up and let me know how many of your community have benefited anything under this leadership that will empower your people, especially the youth, or our elderly people, or our newcomers that are coming to Canada. Mr. Blanc talked about resilient grants, 90,000. He talked about that. That money came 2.5 years ago. We are not just crazy. Our grant will not be waiting for 2.5 years to be implemented. Up to now, that grant is not implemented yet. 2 years. To me, in my view, the report for that money has gone already before implementation. Already. And you want to be the president for this community?
Questions that we were asking,
About the question, just to read, but I'll shoot the video for maybe one or two.
Chief, let me get on here.
I would like to address the question my sister posed in the back, when she said, how am I going to evaluate the impact upon policies of law? The fact is that, the fact is that there are policies that we have that I think that needs to be changed. Our bylaws has flaw in it that we need to rectify. Why do we need to rectify them? Because we are a growing institution. And as we are growing, there will be changes. Will change, and policies change. And we need to address them. There are things that we did not think about before that we have to think about now. Take for instance, when the laws were drafted, we did not have COVID. But now that COVID has been a major part in our life, we need to be prepared for another instance. I'm not saying something negative will happen again, but we need to get ourselves ready. We need to adjust. So these policies that we have in place, we need to get back on the drawing board, look at them, evaluate them, make changes when necessary. Those we think we can keep, we keep. Those we think we have to amend, we amend them. Okay, so that's how I will address it. But with that being said, it's not going to be only the responsibility of the board or the executive. It's going to be the responsibility of you and I. This is the time for your voice to be heard. This is the time for you to help shape the road on which not to go. This is the time for you to say we want this or that. We do not want you to put us there and hail us. For me, I do not want anybody to hail me. I want people to hold me accountable. I want to work with you. I don't want to work against you. If we look at for the past years, whenever there were things that were said against in the chat room, against the leadership or against an individual, it was deleted. Why? People should have the chance to say what they want to say, as long as it's in a respectful manner. So those are things that we need to address. All right? President, I feel that the president should not be monitoring the one monitoring the chat room. It is the job of the communication or the secretary. Let them handle the role. Let people play their own individual roles. I, as president, cannot play all the rules. Because if I do, I guess what? You see me as the overall authority, and everything I say becomes final. But if you not play your role, I have my job as the president is to come and bring you into the community and say, this person is not playing the role, what do we do? So it's about time that your voice be heard and not just only the leadership voice be heard. Now, Mr. Blower here talked about how he helped to unite the community of Toronto and other communities. Excellent, great job. We welcome that. But how is it that he was not able to work on his own community when we had issues? How? Furthermore, he was one of the major persons behind those issues. And then you come here now and say we want to be a federal organization. How sure are we that those issues are not going to drag along? How sure are we? Now, we talk about one thing I would say is that my record is clean, it's clear. My chairman of the board is right here. People who know me, they are right here. I am consistent. If I say I will walk with you, I walk with you. For the onset of the whole flag and lag separation, I was the first person who wrote against the separation. Mr. Bani is here. I have proof of it that when I sent out, when they gave everyone position, I spoke to the simple terms and said, I didn't talk. I will not be a part of any divisive act. You can attest to it. Why did I do that? Because I do not believe in division. I believe that we can work together. Most importantly, I believe in the slogan of love. And I don't know if my colleagues here even know the slogan of love. Together we work for a better community. All right? Say it again. Together we work for a better community. Right? Now, this is the power that I have within me. I believe that we can all do it together. No one man needs the credit. I do not want the credit. I want every one of us to have the credit. I do not want to stand up and be up there while the other people down here. I want every one of us to claim that ladder together. Because when we claim it up together, guess what? Our community will succeed. All right. Time up.
Yes.
Thank you. In conclusion,
Sir.
Finally, I will have to say. Finally, I would like to say to each and every one here, I know it's going to be a tough decision. But do not vote on promises. Vote on record. Vote on people who say they will do something and they do it. Vote on track record. Vote on what they have said before. Do not vote because you love me or because you love any of the candidates. Vote your conscience. This is the time that life moves in another direction. Electing Mr. Blower here is like taking new wine and putting in the old bottle.
Hello. Let me drop this. I know you have a president, but as far as this debate is concerned, I'm the president. I like that. As you can see, we try to be fair to everyone. And we will not please everyone. The important thing is to be fair to everyone. I started by saying that we want this debate to be issue-based. I'm going to go back to my words. I want these two gentlemen to be right for a long time. That when someone raises an issue, especially within them, you have the right to respond. I'm also going to plan for right. What I'm looking here, and you've been talking about women and
Stand up. I'm not 35. Let's stand up. Let's see. Stand up.
Cha!
Well, put the nose in the hole.
And I know sometimes when young people are in the midst of elders, there's a certain fear of kindness. But I want to give an opportunity for any brave young person, because I know that Liberians are brave and our youth are smart. I want one young person to speak on behalf of the youth and ask one question. Hello. Hello. I know we're in Canada. Or in Africa, we have a process. I had written that I will give you the chance, and if you raise your hand, I will not. If I was no, I will cut off that. Please, we are proceeding here by wisdom. We have finished asking the question, but we can call to us and some of the leadership that young people need to be given a chance. We will give you the chance. I know you're making an application, but let's give young people a voice. So I want one young person, and I have a special gift for that person. Wow. Can we listen, please? One house.
This question is directed to So I know we talked about how to get the youth involved, and you guys all live in different areas except for the school. Right? How do you expect, even though the parents are going to get involved as well, but how do you also expect the youth to come if we only see our parents encouraging us, but we also need the community to also like get us involved. So how do you expect us to come forward with ideas or like saying we want to do this, want to do that? Because I'm like part of the youth community in London, and we're hosting like a back to school program right now. And so we could also do that. But how do you expect everyone to come together to like pick a city to go to discuss, or like Zoom meeting or something like that? How do you expect it to do that?
we have done, we've done. We'll respond and then.
I don't have a question. I have a,
There you go.
I need to order my turn.
So you calm down because I think that youth take precedence right now. So we have another young person. Let's hear them, please.
Still on.
My name is Liberian, I'm the current president, and my question is, how do you expect to connect with us if you guys can get us to engage in a very important event just as this presidential election?
Exactly.
How do you expect to connect with us if you can't get us to engage with something as important as this election?
Yes.
There's no representation.
Yes. My observation is it's not coming from the people, right? For the sake of journalism and for the election process, right? I want to speak on behalf of my brother and myself. We are very disappointed. Disappointed in the sense that we have never had, apart from the one point, and I'm not trying to give Ralph a pat on the back or anything, right? But apart from the point that Ralph brought up, that he was the only person, the only candidate that actually attacked somebody on stage right now. So what my appeal here is for the sake of the camera, for the sake of the camera and for the sake of the election, right? I need these guys. I want to appeal to you guys. So give these guys 10 more minutes for them to go after each other.
Let me do something. I'm here, I shouldn't be here. I'm here because of the relationship I have with the Liberian community here. And I've done this at the highest level. And I also, 32 years ago, I started my work as a journalist. To also tell you, I'm in part of the ECOWAS monitoring team to Liberia, to Sierra Leone. Wow. Debates are not about going to. That is why I have said I will give the right to rebuttal for them to just respond. But not, this is not what it is. Yeah. Secondly, I want to place it for all of you. It is nice to hear them talk. You know them, you see them. And I want you to engage them one by one. Yes. And you make your choice. But let's also change the mindset about the things, about the elections. I expect that tomorrow these three gentlemen will sit on the table, drinking and wine.
Yes. Yes, even tonight.
Tonight. So, please, we spend 10 hours exhausted. But what the debate gives you, it gives you an insight for you to start looking at capabilities and all that. Debate will not tell you who a president will be. It will tell you if this president starts from, am I going to be proud to say this is my president? Because you're going to hold them accountable. So please, I plead with you. We might not do what you want us to do, but that's what democracy is all about. Democracy is about the right of the majority. And I think that the majority in this hall
are certified with how this has come.
Yes.
I want to please, your daughter, you have a choice. You have the choice not to answer. You have the choice. So what I've done is the two of you an opportunity to give your views before anyone that you feel. So if you feel it's not necessary, and same thing with you, I will give that one. And after that, I will call on my co-moderator to give us a few words of wisdom and to recognize that we have other programs and announcements about what is good. The election is not tonight. There was no right to really give this closing. Say what? There was no right to He did. He did.
How about any questions, Mr. Moderator?
Questions from you, so I will allow you to answer the question. Again, I will also give you extra 1 minute to choose to respond and say questions from the youth, and I think those questions are vital. And if you have 1 minute.
Mr. Moderator, sir, my name is Jeremiah. I'm chairman of the board of directors. Just came in from Vancouver. Please give me 1 minute for me to just speak to the three things. Just 1 minute.
Speak to the three candidates.
Now,
No question.
No question.
What is going to happen is that our duty is off. The chair of the commission takes over and can allow you to address and go down with yes. So I will start with you and then
So, ladies and gentlemen, Namio, what's your name again? Namio. How would I answer that? Your father being the president of this organization, you already implement at this time, you being vice president, various youth programs in the community. But that is not happening. I'm so sorry why it's not happening. And that is why I'm in this great I'm running a series of youth programs within my community. I'm running a series of youth programs within my community. But this is the way we will engage with you. Honor our leadership. We will engage, introduce programs to the regional vice president. And the regional vice president will be able to engage with the community, mostly the youth, organize programs for them in the various community, whether it will be on Zoom, so you guys will see one another, or in person for us to meet in one city, so you guys will engage with one another. That's why I'm going to do on our leadership. Now, my closing statement, and this is the reason why I'm running. I'm only a people who want to do that. Let us just think why we are here today. Why we are here today? Because what? We want to move this organization to the next destination. And we only need people with experience that are already doing the job, like me in my community. You just served as vice president for 4 years, and I haven't seen anything. You've been AWOL. You guys can attest to that. You've been AWOL. You've been AWOL. So he's sitting there today asking you for you to vote into office. He has no experience with that. And the only person that will able to get the statistic of my community when I was president, all my members of my community has a national ID card for elect. And Eugene does not even know the number of Liberians registered under the different communities. So I want you guys to vote right, vote for me. I want to tell you thank you so much for being here, and I look forward for your vote.
No, that is
no.
No, because I asked you guys how you were gonna go about this program. I didn't ask you to tell me that you're gonna do it. I asked you how are you gonna go about it.
So, your question is great. I'm so sorry, I don't know if you were here when I said it, but I did see that under my administration, it will be necessary to create a position or a spot dedicated specifically to the youth, because we need it. We cannot connect with you if we do not know what your problem is. You just said one of the problems that we have. You just said it. We have a major event right now, and your voice is not being heard. That is not fair to you, and it will not be fair to the people after you. So I intend to create a spot for you. It doesn't, when I say you, it doesn't have to be you, Lemuel, but for somebody like you, I'm so like you, I mean, to take that spot and be able to remind us, the whole people, hey, we are here, our voice needs to be heard. That is what I intend to do. All right, and she wanted to know how is that going to be possible. There are so many ways we can get involved. Virtual, now we can do everything virtually. Another sweet way, I said to the people of Toronto, what if we could hold tournaments where we can put cities in the east and cities in the west? We create teams and meet somewhere in the middle and have that type of fellowship with just the youth. We can go to camps. There are so many avenues we can create them, and that's why I want your voice to be heard.
Thank you.
I would like to say thanks to So, first of all, I would say, currently we came out with an incident. So that's the first thing that make you guys to know that we've been thinking of you. Or if there is anything, for any reason that things have not come to fruition, that gave me and us an insight to continue to reach out. I'll point this out. I was in Vancouver last week with the youth. So I salute you for the work you do there. There was a soccer tournament going on, the African competition. I was there supporting the team, and in fact, I offer whoever scores the first goal $200 the same day I transfer it. So there are things we need to do to encourage our youth, and we're going to do this by engaging with you, soliciting your thoughts, things that are important to you. And it's not going to be us drawing the board. It is you, because you know what you want. And by asking you, sitting down with you, planning with you, will make us to empower you to do things that you want to do. Currently, I'm having a conversation with Jalapena. There's a youth summit that we're about to carry out. Exactly. As she told you. So there are a lot of things that are as part of my plan. Because he mentioned that I was the problem in Toronto. I mean, in Edmonton with financial differences. If he says that, I agree, because we all sit here and talk about accountability, reporting, and audit, and all that kind of stuff. I became the financial secretary for Edmonton, whom he served on the board, and he was the president. And the matter of fact, they refused to turn documentation over to me. They called me at Ron East House to deliver random papers to me. Trust me, with my expertise, I don't financial documentation. You don't give me flying papers or whatever. You have to itemize every piece of documentation that you are turning over. And if I am serious to ensure that the proper thing is done for the community, they went ahead. Kim, thank God they both are here. The community urged them to take me to the bank account as the third signatory to the account. They kept dragging and refusing until the community mandated them. And when the community did so, they went ahead, prepared a documentation to kick off the vice president, who was also a signatory to the account, because of whatever reasons they have. I showed up, they presented this documentation to me to sign. I refused to sign until I read exactly what was being presented to me. I spoke to the bank representative, and the bank representative said that it was taken off the vice president. I refused to sign and urged the bank to freeze the account until the system was solved. So if that was a problem, I agree to accept that problem.
sometimes when you start something, you don't know where to do it. And when you mention is, when you make an accusation against that person has.
That's right.
That's right. The person makes a.
Let's do it.
So we're going to be there for a
Let's do it.
And in doing so, I will ask you to answer and respond, not to accuse.
We shorten
So
down.
we don't leave you. And I think you have the
That's the
right to
same.
respond. That's right. And then, of course, the young person has to speak up, but I think that we need to settle the matter that you fire
What Mr. Flower is saying here is false. Now, the first thing you need to know, that people here need to know, and he can attest to it, there are three signatures to our account. One is the president, the financial secretary, and one member on the board. Three. Mr. Flower was appointed to be the financial secretary. Because there was no financial secretary at the time, was why the vice president was even on the account. When we went to the bank said, by your bylaws, those are the three people we need. In that case, we already had the president, we already had a board member. He should have been the third person. So please tell me, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm wrong. Who is supposed to get out of there? Was it the vice president? It was. But because of him being of service to an individual and not the community, he decided not to. And it wasn't him who decided that the bank or the account closed for 2 weeks. It was the bank manager themselves. And within 2 weeks, the account was reopened after we came with documentation.
I have a question for Ralph. You said, my dad has failed to connect with the youth in our community. I would just like you to tell us what you know about my father, what you know, what he does for this community and for communities, not even in the Liberian community.
Start speaking serious now. Talk,
na musron tropo na monyre tipro ko de no no kombo o samokron pina fanonye nyono komo yansi atia munombo yenu mona to your wedgie, you know where, Cletty, wetty, wetly, oh, Mungo man, Pinade, way, Omuna, we won't, Omuji too, ye more die.